Out of all the Irish songs out there, which one do you think is truly the saddest of them all? A tearjerker amongst tearjerkers. A song that stirs up so much emotion inside you that you just find it hard to speak. We're not just looking at the lyrics as well, it's the melody too. Music has this incredible power to make a grown man cry, either by instantly connecting you to a difficult time in your own past, or by forcing you to empathise with a character, whether they're fictional or real. Let's explore which song will be crowned the saddest of them all. To start, let's set the stage a little bit. We're all different. As humans, we have unique experiences, and music can trigger physical and emotional reactions in us that vary from person to person. We also have our own ideas of what a sad situation truly is. So yes, I know my list isn't going to get 100% agreement, but to that I say, as you watch this video, tell me in the comments if I'm wide off the mark, and share which songs you think should have been on the list instead. Since this is my own opinion, I want to give you a wee idea of how I went about picking the top 5. I started by making a playlist and adding all the songs I already knew were about a sad topic into that playlist. Then I browsed the web, scouring places like Reddit to see what complete strangers thought about the subject. I then added the songs that I didn't know into the playlist, and once I was happy I had a good selection, the real test began. So on my morning commute, I stuck on the playlist, listening carefully to the lyrics, really opening myself up emotionally. One of those days though, there I was, sitting alone in my car in the parking lot of a convenience store, bawling my eyes out to Luke Kelly singing a very sad Irish ballad. People were walking by, trying to mind their own business, while a grown man was wailing in his car. The last week has taken a toll on me mentally, but I made it through in one piece, more or less. So without further ado, let's have a look at number 5. Only Our Rivers Run Free is a powerful anthem written by Mickey McConnell when he was just 18 years old. They're about 60 years ago. This ballad became what many call the theme tune of the civil rights movement, and it was made hugely popular by Christy Moore's incredible recording. The song's power comes from its response to the seething anger at how people in Northern Ireland were treated during the Troubles, especially the denial of basic rights like one man, one vote. It vividly captures the deep and lasting damage inflicted by the terrors of a long war on an entire generation in the North, a generation McConnell believes was maimed, dwarfed and diminished in myriad ways. He wrote it as a cry for help for his father after witnessing defeat in his dad's eyes. For the first time during a riot where nationalists were beaten without provocation, this young lad's song for his father became the anthem of a dispossessed people, and its message resonated so deeply that it's been translated into 30 languages. This song is profoundly sad because it bottles up all the suffering, the anger and injustice of an oppressed community. It's meant to make us feel the immense personal cost of conflict, the longing for basic rights and the stubborn hope for peace, even in the middle of all that pain. In my view, Only Our Rivers Run Free lands in at number 5. While it powerfully conveys the collective trauma of the Troubles, its sadness is mixed with that seething anger, a strong sense of resistance and a fight for justice. Unlike songs that focus purely on personal tragedy or historical famine, this song, though born from an immense pain, is also a defiant call for freedom. It makes you feel a deep sense of injustice, but that fighting spirit gives it a different emotional weight than the absolute grief we'll see later on this list. Skibbereen, also known as Dear Old Skibbereen, is a powerful Irish folk song that tells a harrowing story from the Great Famine. It's structured as a dialogue between a father and a son, where the father recounts the brutal reasons he was forced to abandon their home in Skibbereen. He describes the devastating blight that ruined his land, his inability to pay rent, and the cruel eviction by the landlord who set their roof on fire. The story gets even more tragic as he explains how the son's mother died from anguish on the snowy ground. The father then had to flee with his 2-year-old son, being hunted through the mountains like a traitor to the Queen for taking part in the Young Irelander rebellion of 1948. The song concludes with the son's determined vow to one day lead the fight for revenge for Skibbereen. For me, Skibbereen earns its spot as one of the saddest songs because of its raw and visceral depiction of suffering. The father's story is incredibly powerful, detailing not only personal loss, the death of his wife, being forced to run with his infant son, but also the systemic cruelty of the time. Skibbereen covers the horrors of famine, political oppression, and the utter desperation that drives a family from their home. It has layers of historical trauma and a vengeful call for justice that makes its sadness feel both deeply personal and universally resonant, leaving you with a lasting feeling of sorrow and anger.
And that's the cruel reason why I left old Skibbereen.
She Moved Through the Fair is a traditional Irish folk song with a hauntingly beautiful and ancient-sounding melody. The lyrics were written down by the poet Padraig Colum and first published back in 1909. The song has been recorded from countless artists, from Fairport Convention to Art Garfunkel. The ballad tells the story of a narrator who sees his lover at a fair. She assures him that their wedding day will not be long, as her family approves of the match. But then, in a heartbreaking twist, she later appears to him as a ghost, repeating that same promise. This ghostly visit implies her own tragic death and the heartbreaking reality that their reunion can only happen in the afterlife. The profound sadness of the song comes from this unfulfilled love and untimely death of the woman before their wedding could ever happen. It's meant to evoke feelings of deep sorrow and longing for a love lost to death, yet it also offers a glimmer of bittersweet hope for a reunion in the next life. In my opinion, She Moved Through the Fair is the number 3 here on the list, because of its deeply poignant story of a love tragically cut short. The image of the beloved returning as a ghost to repeat a promise that can now only be fulfilled in the afterlife is incredibly melancholic. While the situation is heartbreakingly sad, the ethereal nature of the ghost's return and that hint of a potential reunion gives it a slight different emotional weight compared to songs that deal with more absolute, inescapable endings. Nevertheless, the tender melody perfectly underscores the song's themes of lost love and enduring longing, making it a truly moving and sorrowful ballad. Kilkelly, Ireland is a more contemporary ballad written by American songwriter Peter Jones. This song's story, though, is incredible. Jones discovered a collection of century-old letters in his parents' attic, sent from his great-great-great-grandfather Brian Hunt in Kilkelly, County Mayo, to his great-great-grandfather John Hunt, who had emigrated to the United States in 1855. Because Brian was illiterate, he dictated the letters to the local schoolmaster. The song is presented as a series of letters, covering the years from 1860 to 1892. They share family news, births, deaths, marriages, and harvest reports, all while expressing the deep love the family in Ireland still holds for the son they will likely never see again. The final letter in the song, just like the real correspondence, informs John of his father's death. Kilkelly, Ireland is profoundly sad because it vividly shows the effects of poverty, famine, and emigration on one Irish family, and more universally, the sadness and longing experienced by families who have been separated permanently. It's meant to make you feel the immense personal cost of being forced to leave your home and the emotional toll of permanent separation and loss. This one really hit me hard. As someone who has left Ireland, I was able to resonate with it. It made me imagine receiving a message from a family member about similar bad news, which is inevitable. I think this will resonate with anyone who has emigrated and doesn't live close to their family. That kind of news is coming for us all, and it's something I try not to think about. But instead of avoiding it, this song makes me want to reach out more often.
I didn't try sooner to tell you that Father passed on.
And now for the number 1 saddest Irish song. In my opinion, and as well as that based on what I've seen from many others online, it has to be Grace. Written in 1985 by brothers Frank and Sean O'Mara. It was made famous by Jim McCann. The song tells the tragic and almost unbelievable story of Grace Gifford's marriage to Joseph Plunkett. So who was Joseph Plunkett, really quick? He wasn't just any rebel. He was a poet, a journalist, and one of the key leaders of the 1960 Easter Rising. Despite suffering from tuberculosis his whole life, he was a central figure in planning the insurrection, serving as the director of military operations. In fact, he had to leave his hospital bed still bandaged from recent neck surgery, just to take his place at the General Post Office with the other leaders. He was one of the 7 men to sign the proclamation of the Irish Republic and, at just 28, was the youngest to do so. It was this man who was court-martialed and condemned to death. This song tells the story of how he and Grace Gifford were married inside Kilmainham Jail in Dublin mere hours before his execution. Think about that for a moment. The sheer amount of emotion packed into that ceremony. Love, hope, defiance, and the overwhelming certainty of loss is almost impossible to comprehend. Knowing that their time together was so short and that his death was completely inevitable adds an unbearable weight to the narrative. The haunting chorus begins, "Grace, just hold me in your arms and let this moment linger." A desperate plea that so many people connect with. For me, Grace is undeniably the #1 Saddest song. The situation it describes is almost too heartbreaking to fully grasp. Yet, the amount of emotion packed into those final moments is palpable. The melancholic melody as well perfectly complements these heavy themes, making that first line of the chorus truly haunting. It's a story of love against impossible odds, ending in the most tragic way possible.
Share our love, for we must say goodbye.
So what do you think? If I'm miles off, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know your take on it, and be sure to share the name of the song as well if you disagree with me. I will add it to the playlist. It'd be great to build a playlist that could knock a grown person to their knees in tears. Apart from the ball of my eyes out in the car bit, it was good fun making this video. If you enjoyed it as well, be sure to like and subscribe. I'd love to have you along for the journey. As always as well, I want to give a huge shout out to our channel members. Thanks again for your continued support, and I wish you all the best wherever you are in the world. If you're interested in joining them and supporting the channel a wee bit more, check out the links in the description for more info. So yeah, look, that's it for me. Thanks again for watching. I hope you all have a great day. Slán go fóill. Cheers.